college lecture. Okay. In one sentence, God does not exist because.
I'm not trying to give you a lecture. I really am not.
Yeah,
But
God
I
does
don't
not
think I can do
exist
it in
because.
I don't think I can do it in one sentence, but I am trying to keep it concise.
Okay. Well, why don't you give it to in one sentence, and if we need further clarification, we can add a second sentence. God does not exist because.
Because if there's a statement that this God is real, then that would be a fact that this God is real.
No,
That
your
fact would be
position is God does not exist, right?
That observation would be.
Wow, you're not giving me a
God.
one sentence. You're not giving me a one sentence answer. Okay, God, your position is God does not exist. Okay,
There's commas in my sentence there. That's one.
God does not exist because. Can you give me a one sentence summary?
I did. My sentence included commas and semicolons. It's just kind of hard to hear them.
Yeah. It sounded like bloviating to me. God does not exist because.
Well, this is a complex concept, so I'm trying.
I don't think you are.
I'm spending time here trying to converse with you on this and trying to make it clear.
I appreciate that. God does not exist because
there's a statement about God being a part of reality, and that statement is basically a fact that is independent of God.
How did you determine that there is a one fact independent of God? How did you determine that?
Oh, I actually told you there are two, and this is one of them. So
how did you determine that there is one true state of affairs that metaphysically does not have its ultimate derivation and dependence upon God? How did you determine that?
Well, we need to be able to observe that separately.
That's a non-informative answer to me. How did you determine that any single fact does not ultimately derive from an eternal mind, God?
Well, I'm trying to give fact as an example of that. And
Randolph, how did you determine that any single fact exists metaphysically and ontologically independent from God? How did you determine that?
I am at a loss for words for this because it's really hard to make that determination.
Is that assertion arbitrary or not arbitrary?
I'm trying not to be arbitrary.
Good. What is your justification that a fact in question exists ontologically and metaphysically without ultimate derivation and dependence upon God?
Oh, we're adding ontologically onto this now. Okay.
No, I'm not adding it on. It's just inserted there for clarification. Okay.
Okay. I'll go with
your position is God ontologically and metaphysically does not exist. Your position is that there's a fact that does not necessitate deriving and depending upon God ontologically and metaphysically. Now, Randolph, how did you determine that any fact does not have its ultimate derivation and dependence upon God? Do you know then what is ultimate that is not God? Do you know what that is?
I don't know. I have some ideas.
How did you exclude God?
I do have some ideas that could serve as alternatives.
How did you exclude God?
I need to see some kind of demonstration that the fact
that's a request, not an answer to my question. I didn't ask you to give me a request. How did you exclude God as the necessary precondition for the stipulated fact? How did you determine that?
It has to do with my understanding of what a fact is. And so it's basically...
How did you determine that, Randolph? I'm still waiting. You are dodging and dancing. How did you determine that any fact exists in complete independence from God? How did you determine that?
I guess because I'm not seeing the connection of how the facts are dependent on the God.
Oh, okay. So the not God world is true because you are unconvinced that that fact depends upon God.
I'm not uh,
You said
willing
I'm not
to.
seeing a
Well,
connection.
no,
Okay.
I'm not.
You said
So because I'm not seeing it means that I'm not accepting it as necessarily
okay.
true. That doesn't mean I'm
Are,
rejecting it.
are, are- okay. Listen to me. This is amazing. You never cease to amaze me.
Thank you.
That wasn't a compliment.
Oh, it felt like a compliment.
No. It's like the captain in The Sound of Music. It was meant as an accusation. Okay? And if,
Oh,
if you don't if you've seen The Sound of Music, you'll know the line I'm talking about.
what are you
Um,
thinking of?
um, being purposely evasive, obtuse, and deceptive.
I'm trying to be clear because I
I don't
find
I don't I don't I don't think you are at all. I don't believe you. Now, you keep on playing little word games, little semantic gymnastics. Okay. Now, a fact in question exists independently and non derivatively from God because I'm waiting.
I'm sorry, it cut out a little bit for me. Maybe you can repeat. Sorry.
The fact in question that you categorize as existing with independence from God, metaphysically, ontologically, because
Because it's a statement about reality, and I'm not seeing that it's dependent on a single deity, a single God.
okay, so when you say you're not seeing how that is, are you stating you're unpersuaded?
Yes, I'm unpersuaded.
Okay, so a fact is ontologically independent from God because you're unconvinced.
Hmm.
Okay, so the
Yeah,
not God world is true because you are unconvinced of the God world. Is
yeah,
that your
and the
position?
definition
Is
of
that your
God,
position? Is that your
and
position?
for the definition of God we're working with, yes.
Yeah. Okay. That's argumentum ad ignorantum fallacy. That's an appeal to ignorance. That a proposition is invoked solely to be true on the grounds that its negation is unconvincing, or you don't have a reason for it. So you have your rationale that God does not exist is an appeal to ignorance. Do you
I don't
realize
have,
that?
I don't need to have a reason to not believe something, though.
Listen to me carefully. That wasn't a response to my question. You have made an appeal to ignorance fallacy. I just walked you through it. That the not God world, which is the same thing as saying a fact is independent of God, okay? If a fact is independent of God, that constitutes the not God world, right? The not God world is to be invoked as true because the God world, meaning a fact that depends upon God, you don't have a reason for it. Is that your position?
Kind of.
No. Is that your position that the not God world is true solely on the grounds that the God world you don't have a reason for or you're not convinced of it?
I'm not convinced. I'm not saying that there absolutely are no
Can you
no
answer
God.
my can you give me a straightforward answer to the question instead of your
That was a
usual
straightforward answer.
evasive responses here?
No, this was a
Is the not
straightforward answer.
is the not no it wasn't or else I wouldn't have made that retort. Is the not God world true solely on the grounds that you don't have a reason to believe in the God world?
You're limiting the scope of my answers.
Okay, can you answer the question, please? See,
I don't know.
this is how dishonest of a human being you are. When you get asked
I'm
a
dishonest.
fair no, you are dishonest in this category. You may be as
No.
honest. You may be as honest as the day is long in other parts of your life. I'm talking about this subject matter, and this is the same old crap that you dish out with me. That last response, okay, saying you're limiting my answer is not an answer to my question. It's just a statement of evasion. It's hand waving. Look at this glittering thing over here. Okay, is it your position that the not God world is true? Excuse me. Is it your position?
I don't hold that position.
Hold on. I misspoke. Is it your position that is it your position that the not God world is true?
It's not my position. No.
Okay, you're a liar. Okay, because you told me that earlier.
So
you're now lying. Did you not tell me that you believe that one fact does not depend upon God, and your belief that that is true entails that God cannot exist?
Based on the definition you provided, yes. Now,
No, sir. It wasn't the definition I provided. It's here we go again with the atheist cliches. Okay, it's both of our definitions, not just mine.
Sir Dawkins, I don't believe. That doesn't mean that I necessarily take a position either way.
Okay, here we go again with your bullshit. I mean, it's disgusting. You make me want to vomit. You see, this is what you do. You reach into your little pre-performed cliched responses. Listen carefully.
No.
Do you affirm a proposition that commits you that God does not exist?
No, I don't affirm that position.
Okay, yeah, you do. You're a liar. You just told me minutes ago that you believe that there's a fact that exists with independence from God, and that fact entails that God doesn't exist. You told me this.
See, the problem is that
Did you tell me that earlier?
The problem is I don't believe.
Did you tell me that earlier?
To entertain the definition
Did you tell me that earlier?
To entertain the position you provided, yes.
Fourth time. Did you tell me that earlier? The proposition that you believe to be true necessarily commits you that God does not exist. So is it your position that God does not exist?
I'm trying to answer your question.
Okay, you know you're not. Answer it.
Yeah, you're cutting me off before I completely finish.
Is it your position that God does not exist?
Based on the definition we're talking about, yes.
Okay, so you believe God does not exist. Now,
the one that we define, yes.
Yeah. So you believe God does not exist. You're not merely withholding judgment. You believe God, in this conversation, does not exist, correct?
The one you defined, yes.
Why do you keep on adding that qualifier? Because you agree to that as well. It's not. There's no need for you to go, well, the one you defined, because we're not talking about anything else, Randolph. Why do you keep on adding that?
I'm being clear with my answers. Why is that a problem?
No. There's no need, because you see, what happens is global atheists like to bait and switch and go to local atheism. Okay, now your position is God does. Okay, your position is God does not exist, right?
The one as define the one that we're talking about.
Listen, yes. if you say that again, if you say the one we're defining about, I'm going to kick you from the room, because you've said it a bazillion times. Okay? Now, is it your position that God does not exist?
I don't respond well to threats.
Okay, get the fuck out of here. Unbelievable, huh, folks? This is what this guy is. He's well practiced at being evasive, deceptive, giving non-informative answers, answering a direct question with a rabbit trail.
He's just agnostic.
No, he's not agnostic, sir. He's calling himself an atheist. He's trying to co-opt the claim of agnosticism while not claiming to be an agnostic, but agnostics indirectly deny God. Okay? But you see that whole exercise there is one of him being evasive and deceptive. Okay? How many times did I ask him a straightforward question? Is it your position that God does not exist? And he couldn't just give a straightforward answer. Okay? But he admitted it when he said that he believes there's one fact that doesn't depend upon God, and it logically entails that God doesn't exist. But this is what a deceptive person he is on this subject. It's disgusting. They don't want to admit what their real position is. Right? Now, we all heard him say there that the not God world is true because he doesn't have a reason to believe that facts depend upon God. If we say facts depend upon God, as we have previously defined them, that's the God world. So Randolph Richardson's position is that the not God world is true solely on the grounds because he doesn't have a reason for the God world. I'm not putting words in the man's mouth. This is his position.
I feel like he was. I agree that that's what he said, and that he contradicted himself. But I think his position, like I was going to try to charitably reconstruct it. I think his position is probably that there are these facts that are independent of God, and that those are in fact like contradict the existence of God, so it would entail that God doesn't exist. But he wasn't sure how to actually defend that view, how to actually like give reasons to think that that fact is independent of God. And I think he got stonewalled there and tried to backtrack and move around that, and it didn't work out for him.
I appreciate that you want to give a charitable interpretation. Okay. However, have you listened? And I don't suspect that you have. Okay. And you haven't. That's not a problem. Have you listened to the recorded previous interactions that I've had with this clown?
Not with that guy specifically, no.
Okay.
I
So
didn't know there was a history.
there's been a number of interactions with us, and it is always this evasive double talk, monologuing, soliloquy. I mean, it's just disgusting talking with this guy, right? Now, he's not obnoxious. He presents himself cordially, far more cordial than I was. Okay, but this guy it's amazing the depths that he will go to engage in verbal deception, and that's what I get outraged at. I think it's disgusting. Okay, he admitted what he believes to be true commits him that God doesn't exist. Right, and then when